welcome back to Project Seawolf. So for some recap, I bought an old boat in Seattle and I brought it up to Anacortes, up to a dry dock I knew about and had a pretty good rapport with, and my friends also dry dock there. And so I was just kind of focused on getting my new boat up to the somewhere safe. And yeah, so I hauled out and got the boat into the yard. Even though it's not a DIY yard, they still offer, they still say you can work on the boat, just nothing too major without consulting them first. So that's all well and good. So now I'm kind of biting the bullet with that issue, in that I have to schedule my fiberglass hull and paint to be worked on. So the yard recommended that I go with Seattle Yacht Services to have the boat taken in to their shop and to be ground out and repainted. And just to repaint the boat, they quoted me at $20,000, which I understand is probably going to be a reasonable amount for a large yacht owned by somebody who has retired with a couple million. But for a recent grad student with next to nothing, that's that's not going to work out. So I had to turn that down. And so my other option was to see how much the yard was going to charge for their shop. Because I after I got quoted by Seattle Yacht Services, I went back to my yard and said, this is not going to get done if I have to go with them. So I guess they pulled some strings, and they said that if I take the mast down and all that, then they might be able to get it into their shop to sand it out, and that's all good. But still no fiberglass work, which is what I really need, is to repair some of the fiberglass, replace the through hulls, grind out the huge bulges around the chain plates and the blisters. So there is a DIY yard in town called Skyline Marine. I wouldn't be able to put the boat back in the water unless I filled the through hulls and replaced the engine, and that would require keeping the mast up. But trucking it across town with Marysville hydraulic trucking would require that the mast get taken down. So my three options after not being able to afford $20,000 were to quote the current yard for how much they would charge to do, or to have me do the stuff that I need done, or to launch the boat and take it over to Skyline Marine, or to truck the boat across town to Skyline Marine. So I came to the yard with those three options, and the yard said that they could have me do the work there. Just for them to sand and repaint the boat, it was going to be $5,800, which is a lot more reasonable than $20,000 for the same job. But I still needed to get more so the fiberglass work done. And I wasn't too worried about them doing the painting. I'd be fine doing the painting myself. So the hidden option here is that they completely tarp my boat for $500 a week. So you rent out a tarp for $500 a week, and then you can do whatever to the boat. That does require taking the mast down. And their quote for taking the mast down is $3,000 just for them to come by with the crane and take it down and put it back up. So that is quite an expense. But the fact that I'm paying rent to this yard for a much cheaper price than I would have to pay every month at a DIY yard, I'm actually saving money by paying for this more expensive, limited self-service than I am renting out a spot at the DIY yard, especially because I'm still working, and especially because it would probably take about the same amount of time for me to do the work at both places. So that's fine. So what I'm going to have to go ahead and do is have the mast taken down for that, about the same amount as my monthly income. To give you an idea of where I am financially, here is my bank account after I bought all the welding supplies and cushions and fiberglass materials I'm going to need for this job, and not even the paint yet. So I'm really not working with a lot. I'm going to be saving over the next few months. I have a couple of patrons, and that is awesome. And also YouTube's been paying me for the first time as well. So those paychecks are going to be going into that. If you want to help me out with this process, either you can come by and help me grind out the haul or become a Patreon. It's been really cool. I actually got to talk to Delos through Sailing Delos through Patreon, and he invited me out for a sundowner in the Pacific sometime, and I'm like, man, I got to get the boat back in the water now. So yeah, that's pretty exciting. But it would help me out immensely if I had more patrons, and if not, it's fine. I'll get the work done. It's just, it might take a little bit longer to be able to afford to get the mast down. And so what's going to happen is I'm going to have the mast taken down. I'm going to have the boat tarped. I'm going to have a crew of people, hopefully rendezvous with the Remy's. He said he'd be interested in doing that. Also have some friends in the South Sound and other cruisers who want to help me get the boat back in the water. So they might be coming by. And if not, it's fine. I'll just rent the tarp out for an extra week. But if so, then yeah, we can knock it out in a week, I hope. And that halves the price of renting out a tarp. So yeah, we're gonna take the paint off, start digging into those big bulges and blisters, popping those and rebuilding the fiberglass in a nice controlled environment, building that fiberglass back up and making it stronger around where the chain plates are, putting down some weave probably, building it back a lot thicker probably, because those areas are compromised. And then yeah, after all that's done, then we can move on to doing a lot of the deck hardware. I'll probably preemptively take the rudder off and do the rudder, the full process to the rudder first, so that I'm familiar with it, all the materials and the paint and all that before I tarp the boat. So yeah, I'll have some experience, and also it'll be a good opportunity to check the shaft on the rudder and the bearings. But yeah, what I really wanted out of these quotes this week was to figure out a path forward, because yeah, they didn't make it very easy for me, and trying to figure out and working with all these companies, coordinating and getting all these invoices has been a long, stressful process. But it's good that I finally have a clear path forward, and all the work is going to get done that I need done before I put it back in the water. Once it's back in the water, then I can repaint the stuff that's on, that's not integral. This tarp stuff is I'm only gonna be covering the hull part. So that way we can get her back in the water sooner and be able to work on her in the water and not be stuck in the yard with the requirements of the yard. As I mentioned earlier, I got an aluminum and stainless steel welder so that we could start working on the solar arch and the Dodger and the Bimini components, and I think I'm gonna go with a Portland Purgy dinghy, because I wanted a inflatable for a lot of reasons, mostly storage, but looking at Isla Alejandro Selkirk, which is a place that I really, really want to go because it has a special species of Rayadito bird, and for a few other reasons, a lot of the remote places I want to go don't have a dock that you tie up to. You have to land in the surf on rocks. It's crazy. So yeah, I need a hard body, really robust adventure dinghy for that. One that can take a motor, that can motor through surf and ride itself pretty easy. And I liked the price point of the Portland Purgy as well. So I think that's probably the dinghy that I'm going to go with. I got a Sailrite sewing machine, so I can also start working on the Dodger Bimini type stuff and on the cushions. Excited about using that and learning that tool. It's also going to work with the sails. It's going to come with us on the trip around the world and be able to fix sails and whatever else you need a sewing machine for. So yeah, current launch date, very tentative, looking at August this year, but it could very well be a year after that, depending on how this bottom work goes. Hopefully after this bottom work gets done, it'll be ready to launch, but I could be wrong. Also, I need to get the lithium battery banks, which is another huge financial hit. As of now, I put a lot of the diesel appliances up for sale. They haven't sold yet, and some people are interested in the 60-gallon aluminum diesel tank, but nothing has really sold yet, so still working on that. That way I can afford the lithium battery banks, which I'll need when I go back in the water, because the new motor is going to be running off of them. So yeah, you have a lot to look forward to as the audience in boat work, and I'm still working behind the scenes on trying to get everything sorted. The Patreon is doing well, lots of cool stuff going on. Can't wait to get cruising again and start focusing on what this channel is going to be all about, which is sailing and going out and seeing wildlife. So thanks for watching. I know this might be a little bit of a short update, but yeah, things are a bit complicated right now, expensive, and not a whole lot can be done at the moment. But yeah, continuing to work on stripping the boat so that it's ready to be worked on when the weather dries out a little bit. Yeah, so I'll talk to you later. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.